Hello and welcome to the news at 10. My name is Jake Kulkowski. Joining me today, Mr. Mike Williams and Mr. Liam Mckelvey.
Hello.
It's actually podcast episode 29.
Yeah.
We've moved offices. We did tell you last time, didn't we, that we're moving? Well, here we are. Look at us. Look at that table.
This is a lot more impressive, isn't it?
Professional.
Yeah, we've got it all. We've got it all. The room is a lot bigger, so the audio might be kind of reverby.
Yeah, we're still working on that.
Stick around. Today, we're going to be discussing two major topics in the news. Gaming news, you'll be pleased to know. Nintendo and Destiny 2. Now, I know what you're thinking. They might not be the number one pretty good game in, interests here, but don't worry. We're going to have lots of laughs, lots of gaffs, lots of goofs. And we've
Lots
also
of
got...
gaffs is bad, though, because gaffs is mistakes.
There will be that.
There will,
especially
yeah,
when you
so,
cut me
yeah,
off.
sorry.
It's all right. We're also going to have the 30-second throwdown, fact of the week, of course, and Patreon questions. So stick around and join us. We can sort of lean on the table now. Stick around and join us.
I feel much more
for the next
natural
hour.
already, you know,
it's nice,
great.
isn't it? It's a
Just
good thing.
recline a bit. It's good.
I feel like we're putting whoever's watching on trial, though. I feel like
Yeah.
it's kind of
It
a
is
set of
very
judges.
direct.
Like,
And
could
for
you
that
explain
reason,
your actions
I'm
on
out.
the 4th of July?
You're dead to me. Okay, so let's just jump straight in, and let's just jump straight into it. We're going to talk about Nintendo because there's loads of Nintendo news happening at the moment. Firstly, it's 6 months since the release of their last console, the Nintendo Switch, right? So the Nintendo Switch came out March this year, and it's already built quite a name for itself, actually. It already boasts one of the best games of all time, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, whether you like it or not. Critically, it is. And it's enraptured fans around the world. I mean, already...
It's doing all right, isn't it?
It's doing pretty good. Sales are over 5 million. 10 million games sold already. They don't even have that many, do they? Zelda sold 3.3 million. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 2.6 million. Splatoon, over 1 million sales already. We all had hands-on with the Switch.
Yep.
What do we reckon of it? It's pretty decent, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting. It was classic Nintendo, isn't it? It's like a hybrid machine, and it's trying to do more than one thing as usual. But I think the key thing, which we've already said in the show before, is that they've actually communicated what it does and what is good about it. And unlike the Wii U, which the messaging was all over the place and all like a bit vague and abstract.
Yeah, people thought it was an add-on for the Wii when it first came out because they thought, it's just a tablet that you can use with the Wii.
So yeah, exactly. The fact that it sold so well and stuff is kind of a testament to the fact that they've actually got it right this time. They knew what people wanted to hear and they communicated it properly. So it's good.
Yeah, and like you were just saying, then Nintendo seemed to just like, I don't want to say a gimmick, but like they can't handle having a console with one function. It has to be dual purpose, 2 screens.
Yeah.
It's a screen.
They have to reinvent them in some way.
Exactly, and for those that aren't aware, like in the East, Japan especially, the handheld market is massive. Mobile market is massive. Completely swamps any console sales and things like that. So the fact that they're trying to appeal to both, it's a smart move, especially over there, right?
Definitely.
Here, a lot of people that play it docked, but you know, it is what it is, and you can play it on the go, right? It's so easy to turn on. It's just you can pick up the game, carry on where you left off. So for that reason, I'd like to make you an offer. So I feel like I'm on Dragon's Den at this table. But the thing is, they released the Switch in March with a couple of launch titles. No big Mario game, no Donkey Kong, Pikmin, Metroid, all that. They had Zelda. And then they announced, quite controversially, they've got a Mario game. We've got these games coming out later. They kept saying later on. We've seen more of Super Mario Odyssey since, and actually, incidentally, looks pretty cool. It's out here October, I think.
Early October, I think.
Yeah. And they've announced a lot more. So let's just jump into our first topic. This is indie games on the Switch. I know you're thrilled. I know. So Nintendo obviously dance to their own tune quite a lot. They're known for just being like fucking Nintendo. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't do paid online. They don't do this and that. But recently they've kind of opened the doors a little bit to the Nintendo curated indie developers, Nindies. They've been given the twee name. Switch version of certain games that have been going out on the Switch, like Wonder Boy, have sold more than all of the versions of their games on all of the platforms combined. A lot of opportunities for indie developers to put out games in the next 6 to 8 months, and they've announced over 100 games. Do you think it's a good fit? Indie games?
Yeah, 100%. Because you look at the power of the console and stuff, and the Switch is appealing to me as really not a huge Nintendo fan these days. Anyway, the Switch is appealing to me, and it's nothing to do with how powerful it is. But I don't think of that. I don't look at it and go, "Oh, I wish it was as powerful as the Xbox One or the PS4 or whatever." It's fine as it is. I think it does its job. And then the beauty with indie games is, half the people who build massive PCs these days end up playing like flipping isometric RPGs and 2D side scrollers on them. So it's but that's it's a perfect fit in many ways. Like not only the portability thing, but the actual power capabilities of the machine itself. It works wonderfully. You don't need a monster to run half these games, do you? I don't know what you think, Liam, but
I think it's like match made in heaven, really.
Yeah.
Because before the Switch came out, indie games sold incredibly well on the PS Vita, if you remember that.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Like, people, and it became a sort of heaven for indie games, the Vita. It was a good little and it proved that most of these games work really well in the portable format.
Yeah.
So when Nintendo comes along and go, we've got this like powerful HD handheld console, we want all these indie games, of course people are going to swan to it. It's like, it is the perfect match.
Yeah, I mean, the obviously the home of indie is PCs, because that's what platform indies are made on. And then from that, you get like Steam and everything, and all like indie is such a huge term that covers so many things. But you see indies on Steam in insane volumes these days, but then that's ignoring things like the flipping websites and stuff, and what is it, like itch.io and all that sort of stuff.
itch.io.
Yeah, that shit, like where it's just very light, small games that that stuff is indie as well. So PC is the home unequivocally, but the Switch is making a very good appeal to those developers and those people who make those games to be like, hey, come over here, this is great over here.
Yeah, you're right. What you just said about indies having a sort of safe haven on PC, because that's where they're made on PCs, right, predominantly. The Wii U was notorious for having quite a lot of problems with ports. It was notoriously complicated to port a game, especially like we were just saying about that. Nintendo have got a lot of dual purpose stuff, so indie developers are going to be like, oh shit, we've got 2 screens, we'll just put a menu on 1 screen. And then I guess gamers might feel a little bit shortchanged by that. The Nintendo Switch is supposed to be a lot easier to port games onto, and the developers have been saying it's a dream to work with. They've pulled in some big indie games. If you're a fan of indie games, you will have known one of these titles. I'm just going to read like 5 of them. Or something like that, 6. I can't count.
It doesn't matter. It's just
one of my favourite games this year. One of the best indie games critically is Hollow Knight, and that's a game where its art style just marries up so well with the Nintendo Switch. The Escapists 2, Stardew Valley, another game you can just imagine on the Switch. In fact, Stardew Valley's multiplayer is going to be exclusive to the Switch for some time. Right. Binding of Isaac, and a game called Duck Game. Liam. Thank you.
It's a duck game.
That's the duck game button. Anyway, let's not talk about that. So we can look forward to a lot of these. I think the big appeal with these indie games is the fact that you can pick an indie game up. Think about The Witcher 3. Turn it on. There's a loading screen. There's a menu. There's Geralt looking miserable by a tree. You click start, and then it's like, continuing his search for Yennefer. Geralt, and then you've got to wait, and then it loads up, and then. But this is literally pick it up.
Was that Geralt? Was that you were in the game at that point? And that's
that's not the Geralt voice. But this is like, pick it up, do a day on Stardew Valley, put it down. Probably. I don't want to put this like a Top Gear challenge. Can I complete a day on Stardew Valley before you can load up The Witcher on PC? You know what I mean? It's these games that you can just pick up. It makes perfect sense for them. I think another thing, I want to know, Liam, you've got a lot more experience than anyone here. The eShop, right? Because Steam Store, we were saying this before, is fucking just a shit show.
Saturated.
It's like the App Store. You can't
totally
find stuff.
Saturated.
Do you think an indie game being put on the eShop would be a good thing? Like, I mean, would it be very appealing for a developer to be put on there? Is it easy to curate? Is it easy to see? Could you find a new game on there? Do you feel confident looking through there thinking, I'll buy a good game today?
Oh, definitely. Like, it's so much better than, you go on Steam Store looking for indie games, literally hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of games. But Nintendo on their eShop, they actually make an effort to curate it, and they have a dedicated indie section, if I remember rightly.
Right.
And it's full of really high quality indie games, like stuff like you said, Wonder Boy, Binding of Isaac. They're all front and center, easy to find.
Yeah.
Like big thumbnail type pictures, so you get a clear look at what the game is, not like just a bit of text like you get on Steam.
Yeah.
So it's a really good place to. I've discovered new games from it. I've bought a few indie games on the Switch.
Yeah,
that I probably never would have found otherwise. So,
I think what's going to be interesting is how long that stays true for, because it's like, now that's what it's like because the console's still pretty new, but give it 2 years' time, will it be more like Steam where it's, no matter how good the UI and the layout and the curation is it going to be so full of stuff? Because if it is a popular place for indies, a lot of indies are going to move over to it. So they've got to be careful how they want to approach this. I imagine it will be down the heavy curation front, and they'll want to keep that going because that's Nintendo.
Yeah, it's part of their remit. It's like that clean, family-friendly, clean-cut image, isn't it?
Which again ties into another reason indie games marry up so well. Think about things like Stardew Valley. Do you know what I mean? Like games like that. Family friendly, maybe not Binding of Isaac or something like that, but So this is going on to the next topic, like you're saying, then Nintendo, they're kind of adapting, aren't they? They're coming out of their shell. That's not like a Mario pun or anything. They're coming out of the shell a little bit more, and they're kind of, I don't want to say conforming, but they're kind of getting with the picture a little bit. They're getting with the program, aren't they? Like you say, they've still got their thing, and that's the thing with Nintendo, isn't it? They've got that curation. You can count on Nintendo to not spam you with walls of shit like Steam is a shit show. You can count on Nintendo to not do that. But they've been making some questionable decisions lately. You could argue, one could be the fact that they've collaborated with Ubisoft, some villains there. That's
I don't know. People have been quite positive about that.
Yeah, the results have been pretty good.
In fact, this is what I mean. The game itself turns out it's pretty good. I haven't played it, but
it's the difference is collaborating with Ubisoft as a developer rather than collaborating with Ubisoft as a shit games corporation. They've gone, like ENDGAME and everything. He's made some classic games, so he's they've really gone to the top and to the best that Ubisoft has to offer, and with a specific goal in mind, and it was the other way around anyway, wasn't it? Ubisoft that went to Nintendo?
Yeah, they can't push their weight on Nintendo, can they?
Well, of
Ubisoft,
course,
exactly. I can imagine that Ubisoft pushing for deadlines of people. They won't do it with Nintendo.
I imagine they'd be so careful with it as well. Like they really, to ensure that they could have partnerships in the future and whatever, they'd be so careful to make sure that this game is at least very good.
Yeah.
So that Nintendo wouldn't be like, well, you didn't do a good enough job last time, so we're never letting you touch Mario ever again. It's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. They would have had a lot of pressure, so they would have taken it seriously and tried to do something interesting. And it's not like an annual franchise that needs constant churning out of games like Assassin's Creed. It's its own thing.
Seemed like a genuine. It came from like an interesting place.
Yeah.
I mean, Rabbids aren't very popular, are they? But I mean, so I'm just looking at Metacritic.
Bold claim, Jake.
Yeah. Sorry to any of the Rabbids fans out there. 85 critics have reviewed on Metacritic, and it's got a Metascore of 85.
Which is great.
A user score of 8.9 as well. So it's
Nice.
Both critically and commercially successful for a Ubisoft game, guys. Let's just hear that again. For a Ubisoft game. So, that could be the sign of things to come. Nintendo are getting a little bit more modern with it, and they're doing a little bit more of a, they've got paid online coming up, right? That's again something that they can say.
How do you feel about that, Liam? I mean,
yes.
It's not. I'm not quite hot about the idea. It's another. I don't want to be paying. This people want counting Netflix, Amazon Prime, PlayStation Plus, all that. Another subscription isn't gonna.
What do you get for your money there?
It's not a great deal. They say you get access to a bunch of classic games, like NES games and SNES games.
Yeah.
But their wording on it has been very, very vague.
They probably haven't decided themselves on that.
Exactly. At one point they were saying you get 2 games a month, and people are like, oh, it's like PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
But then they're like, no, you rent them for that month.
Yeah. So after that month's over, you can't
and then they swap,
play them anymore.
They cycle in and out. But then now they've been talking about giving you access to an entire catalogue,
library,
of SNES games.
That's the latest that I thought. That's what I thought it was.
So I hope it goes down that model.
Yeah.
And their price has been something like 20 quid a year, something like that. So it's not too much to ask.
It's like Origin Access or EA Access or whatever, that kind of price, isn't it? Which is totally good. Yeah, I think EA Access is probably the best value video game subscription there is at the moment.
It's because they're charging people to pay on online fees and stuff, where the competition is Steam and stuff like that. So it's got to be good. But it is. They do pull it off. Speaking of a classic collection of Super Nintendo games, boys. Here's another unusual decision from Nintendo.
Go on.
For the better. They've decided, whoa, hang on a minute, why don't we just make more of these bloody things? They're bringing back the NES Mini. Did you guys get a NES Mini?
I did not. I wanted one, but I could not find one anywhere. Not even for pre-orders or anything like that. Good
news. 2018, you're going to be able to get one. Or would that change your mind, or are you kind of over it now? You've got a SNES Mini.
So I might. Depends what the price is. I might get
Probably
one.
The same, and not £400 on eBay. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it? Didn't they actually say, oh, you shouldn't be spending more than $80 or whatever on a retro console?
President of Nintendo advised, do not pay more than sticker price for SNES or NES.
Fine saying that, but like you have to hold up your end of that by making sure that I can buy one for that kind of money. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I guess that's what this is, isn't it? It's
that's it. There, they realise that they're saying it's all well and good saying that, but what are they doing to counteract it? Nothing. And then all of a sudden they realise, why don't we just manufacture more of these? Because we're fucking Nintendo. Yeah. So that's I think in terms of them sticking true to their traditional, very Japanese roots, and then family friendly being the key point there. They are making some quite clever advances into. They're starting to swim with the other fishes. I was gonna say swim with the fishes is like what they say when they die in the Matthew.
Good fella shit.
Yeah, Mario's sleeping with the fishes. But what I mean is like they're starting to play well with others. They've invited Ubisoft on board. They're saying, hey, come on guys, let's pay online for our services now like everyone else. They seem to be taking a little bit more nods about what's happening in the industry. They seem like they're not on their own island as much anymore. And
Japan.
Yeah, fucking hell, Mike. Yeah, you're right. You got me there. I'm excited, and I didn't think I'd be saying this, but by the end of the year, I could have a Switch. I could go out and buy one. If they announce, because there's the Nintendo Direct tomorrow, there's that whole thing, isn't there?
Yeah.
They don't really fucking make much of an effort for E3 because they've got this.
Or anything else, like, really.
Yeah, it's like that one big thing these days.
They just do it randomly as well.
Yeah.
It's not even like, this one came out of the blue. It's just like, we're doing this thing, new games, tune in.
This is what I mean. Perfect example of Nintendo just doing what they want on their own terms, right? So the men that don't want to see here, I'm very interested. We're getting hands on Mario Odyssey in a couple of weeks, so we'll get to see that. And obviously, there's a new Metroid coming out and stuff like that. Nintendo are an unusual one, and a lot of people owe a lot of their childhood to Nintendo. Quite a few people have moved on since. I'm a little bit of a sucker for these older titles. I would never get sick of a Donkey Kong game, Zelda games, and Metroid games. I could play them all, and I don't know, it just seems to stick with me, and I guess that's purely what they bank on. A lot of people say they're not very innovative because they just have the same couple of titles, but every now and then they come out with a new one, don't they?
Yeah, I think they're no different to anyone else in the industry at this point, because everyone else just is churning out the same old shit that they've got. Like, you know, Activision's churning out COD, Ubisoft's churning out Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. It's just this, whatever you've got is what makes money. It's just that Nintendo have been doing it for a lot longer than everyone else. But at least there are several years between each iteration of a Nintendo product.
The Legend of Zelda's never outstayed its welcome because there's not one every year.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's still people frantically await it. And did you see the fanboyism about Breath of the Wild when it came out? People hadn't even finished the game and they were giving it 10 out of 10. Yeah. So, you get stuff like that.
I think Nintendo's an interesting specimen because they can make some mind-blowingly ridiculous decisions. I remember like around the launch of the Switch, there were so many headlines that were like, what are you doing, Nintendo? You've got this as an open goal, just kick the ball. Yeah. But they're like, no, we'll try and head the ball in the goal instead. We'll dive on the floor. Exactly. Yeah. Try and do a backflip on the way in. It's like, they do some crazy things that seem to lack any sort of logic. Mm-hmm. But over the last since the launch of the Switch, I just think they've basically made the right decisions so far. I think. I don't know.
Exactly. They've been they keep just announcing just the right amount of games to pique my interest. But then as well, LA Noire sounds interesting, doesn't it? You can remember that from a couple of years ago, and you're like, worth knowing as well. It's £10 more on the Switch than anywhere else. So this is something that I can't quite understand with Nintendo. They've got the Switch tax, as it's known. I don't know if you can remember. Rhyme came out, about 6 months ago. It was headlines because it was £8 more, $10 more, whatever, than anywhere else. And it's the same with a lot of games, including LA Noire. I'm assuming Skyrim will probably be the same thing. They try and compensate for this by like bundling in key rings or just tap with it. You know what I mean? To like make you feel like you're
toys.
But I don't really understand what the tax is. So I don't know if
they have this policy where they have to have pricing parity with digital and physical. And because, you have old retailers like Game and stuff like that, who they charge full fat £50 for games, and Nintendo don't want to upset them, so they say our eShop will cost the exact same.
No matter how shit or old the game is.
Exactly. So, like Rhyme, which was $20 indie game when it came out.
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
You want it on Switch? You look at like $30, $35.
Street Fighter was the big one, wasn't it? Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, they had everyone pay £35 for that when it came out.
For Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, off of the SNES. Yeah. Which is incidentally is going to be on the SNES Mini Classic.
That's SNES Mini, isn't it?
Yeah. This is all because Nintendo want to keep retailers sweet. They don't want to annoy them. They don't want to piss them off.
I don't know what it is about the Switch that's caught so much attention for that, because the PlayStation Store is exactly the same.
It's fucking expensive, isn't it?
Jesus Christ, yeah. You want a new AAA game, it's 55 quid, mate. It's and that is even overshooting the bricks and mortars to make sure that the bricks and mortar have a price edge on the
they aim high.
Yeah, people probably don't complain about it as much on PS4 and Xbox, because you can still go to a site like Amazon and get it for 30 quid, 35 quid.
That's right.
Whereas even the games because Nintendo set the retail price of all their Switch games, even the physical ones, you go on Amazon, it's going to be 40 quid for Street Fighter 2.
So that's funny. It's like, oh, well, the retail price is that high, so we have to meet it. Mm-hmm. But you set the retail price.
So Switch games, that's why Switch games cost the same no matter whether you get them physical or digital, because Nintendo I think technically they publish every Switch game, so they set the price.
Right. So they kind of look at this bullshit, right? We're on about PlayStation Store. Grand Theft Auto 5, no special edition, no nothing. Directly from the PlayStation Store. Bear in mind the release date on the PS4 was the 18th of November 2014. $54.99, which, by the way, for anyone listening in America, it's about $60-something.
It's full price.
It's fucking
over full price.
It's the same price, basically, guys, as Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be when that comes out. Grand Theft Auto 5, ladies and gentlemen.
So, but that's not even unique to Grand Theft Auto 5. It's like basically every AAA game. There are exceptions, like I think Horizon Zero Dawn was a meager 50 rather than 55.
If it's got an online, they'll.
Yeah, if it's got any kind of life afterwards as well.
Exactly.
I think that was a Sony first party game as well, so they're probably more comfortable.
It's the same price.
They'll do what they want with their own stuff.
It's the same price as Destiny 2.
There you go.
Speaking of Destiny 2, let's have a little talk about that. We know that last week we put out, or the week before that, if you're listening publicly on YouTube, we spoke about Destiny quite a lot. It's because it's quite a big game, guys.
Pretty big, yeah.
Quite a lot of people are playing this one. One of the biggest launches of the year. And also, we're moving offices, so cut us some fucking slack. we did a voiceover video because we couldn't set the cameras up and stuff.
Yeah.
So
we had a day without electricity.
Yeah. So we thought, we'll record a Destiny 2 kind of impressions video. You didn't like it, we get it. But we're back with a vengeance, because Destiny 2, unfortunately, is one of the biggest gaming events of the year so far.
And why unfortunately?
Unfortunately,
it's very, very fortunate for me. I've considered this to be so fortunate.
Well, I'm aiming this at the people that specifically are going to be like, oh, do I skip this part of the podcast? Stick around. It's okay. Let's talk about it. We're not just going to be talking about how great it is and stuff like that just yet.
There's news.
There's some Destiny 2 news. So let me tell you what I mean. Sales information of the game, which released last week, happened to find its way to NeoGAF, and Eurogamer are assuming this is accurate as well. They reckon that Destiny 2 in the UK, sold 175,000 physical copies in its first week. Destiny 1 sold 417,000 copies. So just to do the maths for you there, guys, that's 58% less than Destiny 1. Now, Destiny 1 was put out on a Tuesday and this was released on a Wednesday, but one day, an extra 200 and whatever thousand copies, it's not that. So, Destiny 2, before we get into anything else, because we've got loads more numbers to come, loads more stats about Destiny 2, immediate reaction when you hear this, is that a surprise or not? Because there was lots of marketing for Destiny 2. Is it a shock to you, or nearly half? Over half?
I don't think it is a surprise, because it's a sequel to a game that was hugely divisive, and half of those people who bought 400, like metaphorically or whatever, symbolically, half of those 417,000 people who bought it in the UK on week one would have not liked it. So then that cuts your audience in half straight away, and then you've got like all the fallout from after that, and the fact that it's generally seen as a game that's either absolutely terrible or decent. It's like that's they're the two kind of perspectives you see online. And it was kind of when for a long time, like on this channel, like people would always ask me what's your kind of guilty pleasure game or whatever in the podcast and stuff. I'd always say Destiny because I flipping loved it, but I feel like I shouldn't because everyone says I shouldn't. So that and then you combine that with the fact that it is a sequel, so it's you're going to get drop off anyway from the first one. And the rise of digital. People buying it digitally.
And this is our next point. These sales figures, by the way, were UK only. I don't know if I said that already. And they were physical only. So one thing to say about Destiny 1 sales, which I didn't see online anywhere else, but I can specifically remember, the week that Destiny came out, the PlayStation 4's price dropped by £50. So a lot of people who wanted to buy a PS4, me included, bought the game and it was bundled with Destiny. So I was like an unintentional Destiny purchase, and a lot of people were waiting for that PS4 initial price drop, and it dropped by 50. So essentially you were getting the game for free, and I think I got Last of Us Remastered as well.
Nice.
That's nice. Yeah, it's sweet, isn't it? And it's still going strong to this day, my PlayStation 4. But yeah, so that could be a lot of the reason why that counts as physical, because it wasn't a download key, it was the physical game. However, digital storefronts are getting bigger and bigger. I bought it physical, Destiny. Did you buy it digitally, right?
I bought it digitally,
What about you, Liam?
I got physical.
Okay, so...
Well, I and this is probably one of the first, if not the first game that I've bought digitally, like at launch, because I just don't want to get off my ass and change the disc, to be honest. And it's just, I always... For me, I've always got like a shooter on the go, and last with Destiny 1, I played Destiny 1 for 2 years after that came out with the expansions and everything, and just dipped in and out of it all the time, and I was always getting off my ass to change the disc.
It's like when you have to get up to get a drink, and
do you know what I mean? So I was
it's like having to get up and change the channel on your telly by flicking a dial.
Yeah, what is this in fucking 1985? I mean, so I got this. So I got the digital version at launch, and I'm feeling good about it so far. Like I'm enjoying the game and everything. It's a gamble, like there's no doubt about that. Like if I'm disappointed with it, so you're basically screwed. I think it's like a one and done thing with Sony as well. I don't know if that's correct, but it's like you basically have to be 100% sure that you hate this game, or it's broken, or it doesn't work, and you're not going to want another refund again for a few years of PlayStation. So that it's a big gamble if you're going to buy digitally, and obviously with Destiny there's no reviews or anything, but still I was such a fan of the first game, and I played the beta and everything, and I'm gonna have to talk about it in this job anyway, I guess. So I got the digital version, and so I'm a digital customer, and I wasn't a digital customer in 2014.
I have a feeling that was a lot of people would have been downloading it digitally because they could preload it as well, so they could play it straight away. That's another thing. It's a kind of, for those that are completely unaware about Destiny, there's lots of online elements, and there's quite a competitive thing with it. There's levels and things like that.
Race to level 20.
Everyone wants to be the best, right? Yeah. So that could possibly be one of the reasons. I noticed that the sales, it was 50% less, right? Another 50% stat here is 50% of the sales were on PS4. So it was nearly 50-50, I guess. It's not too...
Well, and I think that's another factor, is the fact that there'd be a lot of players who see it coming out on PC in a couple of months or a month's time and going, I'm going to wait for that version.
Bungie have pretty much themselves said is the definitive version.
Oh yeah, it's like as with every fucking game, by the way, it's the best version is on the PC. So they've already said that. The performance I think was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, on PC beta is smooth as butter, 60 like constant 60 frames
to the point,
even at max.
To the point that the game was almost too easy.
Yeah,
people complained about that.
Yeah, so there might be people
so good it's bad, guys.
Version.
Yeah. So the PC version's also going to obviously have a head start in terms of patching and things like that. There'll be a lot of like quest bugs and stuff like that people are going to. I know a lot of my friend group are looking forward to the PC version. They're all hanging on for it because annoyingly and quite unfairly, you can't, even though it's all going to be tied to your Bungie account or your Activision account or whatever, any progress you make on your console version, if you're tempted to buy it, won't transfer over.
That kind of sucks.
Which is very annoying, because you could get a head start, essentially, couldn't you, if you're willing to spend the money and get it on console. You can't do that. So despite the sales figures being quite, I'm assuming that Activision would describe it as disappointing, it's got some pretty good numbers in terms of player count. Activision tweeted out on the weekend that it had 1.2 million concurrent players at one point this weekend, and that's pretty big. Like Battlegrounds has been whittling away this year, reaching new highs, and that
touched 1 million.
Yeah, end of last week that touched 1 million, and that was huge. Destiny 2 in just a couple of days hit 1.2 million, so that's a lot of people online at once. So people are playing it. It was very active. I spent the majority of my weekend playing Destiny 2. Actually, it like really eclipsed my whole weekend. What I want to know is, how much do you reckon PC gaming is going to affect this number? Do you reckon it's going to properly improve it? Or
I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting on PC, because I think from the impressions I've seen and stuff, it's not a game for PC gamers. I fundamentally believe there's a console shooter because of the way it handles and the way it plays, the structure. Exactly, it's a very casual game. It's not, if you're looking, it's the best way to sum it up is that it's pretty deep for a console shooter. It's shallow as a flipping puddle for an MMORPG. And that's why it's a hybrid of both those things. It's just a pretty deep, so that's why people you complain about, you're just grinding for loot and stuff. It's like, but what are you doing in COD? It's like, how different is it to what you're doing in Call of Duty when you're going through Prestige and all that sort of stuff? So it's a hybrid kind of game that's mainly designed for console gamers, I think, and it's going to be interesting to see how it comes out on PC.
Yeah, I think PC gaming, like you're saying, like you've got those RPG, hardcore MMORPGs, right? You've got like Guild Wars 2 and all that shit. But yeah, you're right, it's kind of like trying to encompass a lot of the social aspects of PC gaming on a console. Yeah. So I'm kind of, Liam, have you got any hope for it on PC? Do you reckon it's going to land? Because bear in mind, people are saying that they're not going to play it. Probably would play it.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it will actually see a boost in numbers? Do you reckon it can hit 2 million concurrent players?
I think it could, I'm optimistic about the PC version. I'm probably not going to get it myself because I've already got it on console. Yeah. But I think there's a lot of interest, from what I can gather anyway, amongst like PC community. They're like, because they've heard about Destiny, and a lot of people wanted Destiny 1 on the PC.
Yeah.
And so Activision Bungie finally listened to them. And it's on Battle.net as well, which is a very popular platform on PC, even though it's only got 4 games on it or whatever. But yeah, it's like it's got. I think it might have a pre-install base already.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is ironic, considering that the first game wasn't released on the PC, and it will have an install base. But that's kind of worked against it somehow, because some people have commented on our videos and even tweeted at us, have said, I don't want to get this because I haven't played the first game. It's like reading a second book in a series. Like I was saying in the video on Friday, these are the same people that will play The Witcher from The Witcher 3. But and there was no story in Destiny 1, but I think the PC player base is huge. Let's not forget, I'm gonna, if you think 1.2 million players is impressive, let me just remind you, Overwatch in its first week had 7.3 million players. Minecraft has hit plenty of days where it had over 1 million people, which is a fairly popular game, Minecraft, isn't it? League of Legends has an 8-figure daily active user count, and it's had that for about 5 years. It's fucking huge. Depending on how much time we've got, we might talk about some player counts a little bit later, because like Lawbreakers had 48 players at some point this week, so we'll go back to that in a bit. But as for Destiny 2 itself, then, as a last thing, we're going to just take this opportunity, I guess. Let's just actually talk about, we were talking about the first impressions. Me and Liam have been comfortably endgame since about Friday, Saturday now. It's worth knowing that these Destiny reviews and stuff that have come out have been impressions. There's actually only 8 official reviews. People are ballsy enough to say, this is my review. Everyone else is on hold.
Some of them are worryingly early, I think. It's just like, this is what annoys me about the game. Like, I just wish they'd let the critics play it for like 2 weeks before the fucking launch day, so they'd have like proper day one reviews instead of this mess that you got at the moment. Where IGN have got a review in progress, which they update every single day, and their impression of the game is like a flipping insane like line graph of like, this is incredible. Love it. And then down the bottom, it's like, this is a drag. This thing really annoyed me today. And then back up again for like, the new thing.
Dear Diary.
Exactly.
Dear Diary. Today it's an 8.3.
That's not a review. What is that?
Exactly. It's like it is literally like listening to someone come into work every day and go, "Oh, today I did this."
And ACG as well, Carrick as well. He reviewed it after like 1 day or 2 days. Like he bombed the story.
He was pretty quick with it, wasn't
and I 100% respect the guy and his channel and everything. But I think that is a bit too early to give a conclusive like this is what I think of the game.
Especially before stuff like the raids aren't even active yet.
Well,
exactly. And that's a big part of the game.
Like, arguably the biggest part of the game.
Yeah,
it's the biggest activity.
It's what you work towards, isn't it?
Yeah, when the game ends. So like in MMO fashion, the game begins when you're top level. Like you've got all these end game activities, right, guys? So again, I'm assuming if you've never, if you know, you know. But if you don't, here's what I'm on about.
The story's a big setup, isn't it?
The story's basically a long fucking tutorial to what's going to happen when you fucking get to the end of the game, right? You unlock a heck of a lot of stuff. I love how I said heck. I swore like 3 times in that sentence, and I ended on heck.
You turned into Ned Flanders at the end.
Yeah, fucking widdly diddly.
A whole heap of stuff.
Yeah, fucking. I've been watching too much Fargo, haven't I? I tell you what, though. There's a lot of stuff you unlock at the very end, and then it becomes. This is where the MMO elements come from.
Yeah.
Social space, all this, and a lot of critics haven't got to that part yet, or haven't exhausted it.
Or they've not been doing it for long enough. It's only been out like a week.
Well, so like Liam was saying, the raid isn't even out until Friday.
Yeah.
Today, the day of recording is Tuesday, and every Tuesday they reset the weekly tasks. They changed the sort of the Nightfall Strike, which is like an activity you can do with 3 people.
You do those to get gear, which levels you up in a kind of way, levels you up so that you're prepared enough to take on the raid. So it's after you've completed the game, there is objectives to be achieved. So it's all
yes, exactly. And so a lot of the issues with the first game was that when you get end game, it becomes quite monotonous, quite grindy.
Yeah.
All these reviews. People had got level 20. All right, I finished the game. Write my review, and the raid isn't. So it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one, and I mean, I feel confident enough to talk about endgame content because I've completed every task you can do, apart from the Nightfall Strike.
You've proper smashed it, haven't you?
Yeah,
You've really got into it.
Yeah, I was really fortunate this weekend. Like my girlfriend was just like making me food and like watching me play the game. Because I said I want to try and see how much I can do with this. I played for 12 and a half hours in one sitting on Saturday and 8 hours in one sitting on Sunday. Not counting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and yesterday. So I've played a lot of it. I've done everything you can do. So today, when all the challenges refresh, I'll have more stuff to do. I feel comfortable. And another thing worth mentioning, I didn't like the beta very much.
No, you didn't, did you?
No.
At least you had reservations. You had very specific things that you didn't like about it.
Exactly. And I'm going to give it another week before I tell everyone what I really think. But just a little update. Dear Diary, Jake still loves it right now. I like it, you know what I mean? It's really great.
I'm at the final mission and I've loved it. I've dipped into a lot of different stuff in it so far. The only problem I've had with the story, the story bit, the game, the bit that isn't even really the game, is that I feel too powerful all the way through it. And I because I did a lot of public events and adventures, there's like all these different side activities that you can do during the game now, which wasn't really there in the first one, or at least it wasn't telegraphed to you properly. Now you've got a good map that is like, you go over there and you can do this thing right now if you want. And it's like there's so many different activities you can do while you're doing the story. And I did a lot of that stuff, and I was just so overpowered for a lot of the story that it just like I was just cleaning up, hoovering up. It's like vacuum cleaning the fucking the room of enemies. It was like playing Orcs Must Die or something like that. It was just vaporizing them. There you go. Yeah, it just I felt a bit too powerful going all the way through, but. I can't really say anything about the end game.
Liam has fucking had a week off, right?
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah,
I got
not
very
for Destiny though, right?
No, just week off for the sake of it.
And you are. I think you've got even more light level than me, and I'm
like 267 or something.
Yeah.
Which is, I think there's people already hitting 300, out there. Like insane people who've played it 24/7 since launch.
So should we explain that? I guess it's like you level up to level 20, but also at the same time you've got like a power level, which is a score of it's like a triple digit score. So and that's based on your gear, right? So and the only way to increase that is by getting more powerful gear, and then near the end of at the end game, like it goes up marginally. So you've got to keep doing these activities, and there's different ways, and you get slightly more powerful gear, and then you keep nudging up that score, and you've got to be like level 2. You've got to be like power level 260 minimum to take part in the raid. So after you finish the story, there's still work there for you to do to you know, to improve your kit.
Towards.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
This game's perfect. The carrot and the stick thing is always something for me to do. That's why I've been loving it so much. I constantly feel gratified by finishing a quest, getting something unlocked. Then it's like, what am I going to do next? Oh, there's this, and then that changes depending on what I fancy. So, do I want to do player versus player? Yeah, I'm sick of that now. Do this.
Yeah, it's a great little Farmville type thing for me, because like this kind of game isn't predominantly my kind of game. Like my kind of game is strategy games. I won't sit here for long periods playing Destiny, as much of a huge fan as I am. Now that I've smashed the story, I play it by dipping into it for a couple of hours every couple of days and clear all my weekly activities. So it's kind of perfect for what I want, because it's just a continuing cycle of stuff to optimize and do and you know, check up and make sure that you're, you know, and obviously socialize and stuff like that. It's a great kind of social game. So it's a game that is all about your mindset of what you want from it. I think is like what are you expecting from it going in there.
Yeah, exactly. Liam, anything you want to add about the end game? Has it been boring for you? Have you done any tips and tricks, or just?
I think my excitement's probably died down a little bit, because now I'm on that gear treadmill.
Yeah.
But I'm still having fun with the game. Like you said, you can do Crucible PvP. You get bored of that, just go do some public events. Get bored of that, do some strikes.
Exactly.
There's always something. If you can just swap it up all the time. You're constantly entertained. So it's not as bad as Destiny 1.
No.
Whereas I stopped playing that vanilla. That's before any of the expansions and everything, and that was a monotonous grind at the end of that game.
We've all played the game singularly. Like, it's a multiplayer game. The whole thing's designed around other people. Me and Liam last night played some PvP together, and then we tried the Nightfall Strike, which is a 3-man raid, and we tried to do it just the two of us. It didn't end that well. We nearly did it, but
almost.
That's insane.
We got close.
Yeah, we got to the last bit, and the time is what got us. We would have got. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So the point is, all this enjoyment we're having is not derived at all from playing with others, which is how the game's designed.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that the fun's going to greatly increase when the three of us are playing, because, you know, we can play it through us.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's how I'm thinking about it. Like, I've taken the story as I'd take any first-person shooter campaign story, and then I'm learning the ropes and all that sort of stuff, and figuring out how I want to play it. And then once you hit the end game, that's where the multiplayer game comes in for me. That's how I'm thinking about it anyway. I haven't touched the Crucible yet, even. I've just been doing stories. You know what I mean?
So that's it, guys. Destiny 2 so far. So good. I'm really excited to hear what the patrons have got to say. I keep checking the Discord, and I'm seeing people talking about Destiny 2. If the PC Master Race play it, what they think of it. Because the thing is, the beta for me did nothing, and then the full game's good. And I wonder if it's going to be the same for people. Because everyone's judgment for the PC version's on the beta. They can't even compare it to Destiny 1 on the PC because there wasn't one. So there's that. I mean, anything else you guys want to add about Destiny, or should we wrap it up?
No, I'm good.
No, I think the thing about the sales is an interesting topic. I think for me, the biggest takeaway is the fact that it's another game that's another sequel that's got like half as many sales as the previous one.
Came out the same week, same type of year, so you can't put it down to seasonal and stuff like that. Yeah, it's another Watch Dogs 2 situation.
Dishonored 2, exactly. Titanfall, COD. There's so many games over the last 12 months that have had that, and it's weird. And I imagine it's going to keep going.
Yeah, it's kind of phenomenal. Second game. So I don't think we can do Lawbreakers, can we? We've been going on about Destiny for a long time.
Leave it.
That's it. We were going to talk about Lawbreakers having 48 players, but we don't want it because it's like they've got a
There's only 48 people that might even care.
There's only 48 people that might care. Well, they've just announced a roadmap for the game. Who's going to play that? Okay, so let's move on to the 30-second throwdown. Do we have a timer?
Well, yeah, I can.
It was a bit last minute this time, so I've had to go again. But I can always find things to do.
I'm not angry about anything this week.
All right, well, here's something that's been irking me a little bit. So let's just play the jingle first. I'll retroactively fit some death metal in there. And let's begin. All right, so this week I've been playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and I've been playing solos a lot, and I feel quite sick of playing solos, so I've decided I'm going to play squad. However, I don't have a mic, and I don't want to use a mic. I don't want to communicate with you, okay? I don't care where you're from. I can play the game. I know how to play the game because I play it a lot solo. Please stop fucking talking to me, and when I don't respond saying, are you there? I am moving around. I am shooting. I am there. I'm not away from my fucking keyboard. I am playing the game. I just don't want to respond to you, so fuck off. Stop talking to me. You don't need words to communicate. Sometimes it's just as simple as a little bit of unspoken communication. I do it in Destiny. I do it in Journey. I can do it in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Leave me alone. Stop trying to talk to me. Learn to communicate with more than just words and violence. That's all that's been annoying me this week.
Okay, no, fair enough.
That's a good
Fair
one.
enough. Good effort. Better than anything I had. So
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on to facts of the week then, and then we'll actually.
do you want to take a breather? Like just
I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I just look. All I've got to say is like I played squads, and normally I play squads alone because it's funnier to be by yourself, and you're harder target, and everyone else is easy to hear and see, and it's fun shooting them, and they're panicking looking for a squad, and you're just one guy. But I'd accidentally selected auto matchmaking, so I was in with these guys, and it was just they all separated, and then one of them was following me around, going, "Are you there? Are you there?" Yes, I'm looting things, you dickhead. Of course I'm there. And then he's like, "Jake, hello, hello," and how can I say I don't have a mic if I don't have a mic? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You can,
are you asleep?
Shoot
like classic
no mic
conundrum.
on the floor.
Are you asleep? When someone asks you, are you asleep? You can't answer that question with anything other than no. You idiot. Fact of the week.
30 seconds of this, man.
Right, sorry. Fact of the week this time. I've got a cracker for you, and then we're going to move on to pitching questions. So, fact of the week, we've also got a jingle for that. So let's play. All right. Fact of the week. This week's courtesy of the Dreamcast. Ryo Hazuki, Shenmue's protagonist, had a bicycle in early development to quickly traverse the town. Okay, time for the Patreon questions. We've had quite a few this week, and they've all been pretty decent, to be fair. A lot of people weren't leaving questions, they were just leaving comments. So we had like a lot of people saying that it was a good podcast and saying good luck with the move and things like that. So cheers to everyone for that. As you can see, it's all been successful. People even commented that it was Mike's sort of workiversary. I've made that word up, but you know, like you've been there for a year now. They somehow knew that, and they said like, congratulations and all that.
Cheers, guys.
So we had a lot of that. So thanks for the support. So let's answer your questions. First up this week, Paul Dagnall, who had just moved house incidentally. And he says, all right, lads, I'm back after 2 weeks. All moved into my new house. Hope your move went well. Well, likewise to you, Paul. So I want to know what you all think of Biomutant. Have you seen or heard much about it? Thanks. P.S. Bring Tenchi back. Jake, where do I sign up? The weekly Tenchments courtesy of Paul Dagnall. I hope, because I've got a green screen now, I can just like put Ricky Maru here or something. Ta-da! Anyway, all right, Biomutant. Yeah.
Biomutant looks great, I think. I unlike most people who thought it looked cool and then saw the like 11-minute gameplay thing that they put out and then immediately changed their mind, I thought the 11-minute gameplay thing was cool. I liked it. I liked the way it looked, and I liked the way it kind of seemed to handle, and I liked the the vibrancy of it all, and without being very kind of Pixar-ish, it managed to be cartoonish in the way that, you know, like Jak and Daxter and PS2 games were kind of, cartoonish. They were kind of cartoonish, but had a bit of an edge to it, not just, all soft and fluffy. Like, I don't know, I thought it looked cool.
Incidentally, we did cover this in a previous podcast a little bit, but Liam, you didn't sit in for that one, I don't think. So what do you think of it? Because
I'm intrigued by it. It's certainly unique. Like, how there's not... Can you name another animal-based post-apocalyptic RPG?
With Kung Fu in?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's that 11-minute gameplay demo. I think people are a bit overly harsh on it. It was an alpha demo after all. I know they hated the narrator and stuff like that. Yeah. But they've since commented you can customize the narration. You don't want it, you can turn it off. Yeah. You want a little bit, you can do that.
Yeah. I think it's pretty brave of them to show off a big chunk of gameplay that isn't really finished, but that's how it should be done. I think that's how it should be conducted, in my opinion.
I think it's got promise. It's made by the guys like ex Avalanche guys who used to work on Just Cause.
Yeah.
So they'll probably get the fun, explosive, over-the-top gameplay, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they know how to nail kind of openness and the feeling of doing what you want to do. And I'm sure that'll come across in the game as well if it's anything to go by their previous record. I think it looks awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm optimistic.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So thanks, Paul. Next up, October Comstock, who, for those who are desperate to know, it is October's real name, is October. We talked about it last week. October Comstock, cool everybody. Thanks for answering my question from last week, guys. I'd love to know what you think of the PvE balance since the game officially came out. I think they're referring to Destiny. I'm still waiting to get the game until I see some more reviews. Okay, so we guess we didn't touch on that. We can briefly do it. We just did a lot of Destiny, but we'll do PvE balance compared to the first game because they've just done it with the Crucible thing.
I think it's much better, you know. It's stuff like the public events and that. It flows. You can randomly join an event. It'll matchmake you with players and you don't even notice. It's like Journey, where players literally just come around the corner and they're in your game. Yeah. And yeah, I think Destiny 1 had a real lack of that. The world felt kind of barren and empty. In Destiny 2, the world feels full of activity. It's like endless opportunity.
It's pretty dense, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a marked improvement over the first one.
I haven't played any Crucible, so I can't really comment on the balance of kind of, I guess if it's like the supers and stuff like that. How does that come across in PvP?
It seems like the same as PvE. Like, you know how to use something in PvE, you can use it in PvP the same way.
Right.
So yeah. I haven't noticed any difference, which is good cool. Because that means so I've got a gun that's good in PvE, it's good in PvP.
Yeah.
So like it just seems cohesive.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like two different things now.
I think you can do that without it being identical. Do you know what I mean? You can make it like make the bar a little bit slower on the super recharge or something, so it doesn't get abused in PvP and things like that. Yeah. And special ammo drops is a big thing. I've been using mainly a shotgun through my time with it, and the ammo is felt like exactly the right amount of ammo. Like it's like I wouldn't really use a shotgun that often when it was just like a secondary weapon in the first game, but now when they've changed the ammo ups, and I feel like I've always got at least like 3 or 4 rounds in there when I really, really need it, and it's also powerful enough, I can just like go up close to a boss or something, or a mini boss, and just unload, and it is powerful without feeling super scarce.
Okay, well, thanks October for your question. Stephen Hughes asks, any chance of the PGG team giving us a tour of your new office once you're settled in? Yeah.
Don't see why not.
Maybe a patron special, innit? For you guys. Yeah, I think Gaz has said that's good. I think he'd commented actually on the Patreon question, or someone did anyway. But yeah, definitely, we've got 2 swanky new rooms. They're both pretty massive. Look at this big ass table. This isn't even half the room.
This should tell you everything.
Look how far away the camera is. I mean, this is serious.
Yeah, I reckon we could do it. I reckon we should do it for the patrons, for the gang, because you'll be interested more than anyone else.
Yeah,
just give you a little guide. So, hey guys,
we're still kind of putting things together at the moment. Is the thing, and it's still a bit of a mess.
See what was around us, you'd be totally understanding. But yeah, definitely. So thanks for your question, Stephen. Rudy Manchego has 2 questions. One of which I think you might cover anyway. Firstly, as someone that just has scrub tickets to EGX for the weekend, are you guys planning on any coverage from the con itself? Is there a photobomb opportunity?
Yeah, we're going to be making videos while we're there. They're going to, I don't know exactly how the format is going to be, but we might be filming outside or something like that, or even in the hotel room or whatever if we need to, just to make sure that we get content out and get stuff out quickly. It'll be interesting for us because we'll have like 4 of us there, all playing games. We'll all have stuff we want to say and stuff we want to talk about, stuff we want to cover. So I don't know how it's going to go, but we will be making videos, and I mean, we'll let you guys know where we are for some kind of,
like you're saying, I still having something to say, like a daily little thing like this, like day 1. You know, I mean, we'll be getting footage given to us of all the games we're playing anyway, so there could be room for voiceover work. In terms of opportunities for photobombs, we'll be there. You can just come and say hello.
Yep.
Of course, find us. You won't miss us. And you all patrons, you've got Discord, isn't it? I think Simply Phil's going to make like a channel for updating everybody and then showing everybody what's going on. So he'll be in charge of that. And obviously, I'll give him a hand with that as well. So yeah, come and say hello. Lastly, Tenchi Let's Play live stream. Come on, Jake, make it happen. Surely this is the point of all this foreplay. If we go back to Twitch, that'll be my number one request. I can play Tenchu. Wrath of Heaven, I think I'll do, because I'm pretty sure you can play it on the PC, actually. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll ninja.
Will we?
We'll ninja.
I feel like this is a power play here, Jake. Like, we will make it happen.
We won't.
I'll join you.
Me and Liam will fuck this guy. Next question. Thanks, Ruthie. Next question. Roger Huertas. Hi guys, new patron here. I have a question for you. Have you played any of the Kingdom Rush games? If so, what did you think about them?
Yeah, Kingdom Rush is decent. Good mobile tower defense thing. It's probably, it's just a kind of pass 5-10 minutes by kind of game. But it's all nicely done, nicely presented, nice kind of fantasy world that it's got going.
Another game, the same developers or something. I think.
Well, they've got. There's a few of them. There's Kingdom Rush, Kingdom Rush 1, 2, and Origins or something, and there's, Frontiers. They've got all these different kind of sequels and stuff. They're all decent. Yeah, if you've got a tablet, I wouldn't play it on a mobile phone, but yeah, Kingdom Rush on a tablet is decent. So if you've got 10 minutes spare and you want a vaguely strategy kind of experience, yeah, Kingdom Rush, why not?
There we go, Roger. Hope that answers your question. Next up, Thadpole says, my question is, do y'all think, and as Mike would say, he did say y'all, that there are some game genres that are getting made too much? Like what happened to rhythm gaming? To me personally, I'm getting tired of the sandbox gaming. It seems that everybody is doing sandbox now.
I sound a lot manlier than that.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
he did say y'all.
Why am I doing like
yeah, you did an impression of yourself. And you made yourself sound manlier.
I can't help it.
You know, the Ubisoft open world, everything's got towers and like mindless side activities. Like everyone's sick of Ubisoft games, aren't they? Ubisoft are even sick of Ubisoft games and they've ditched the towers and all that.
Is your game genre being done too much? Yeah, I think open world's annoying as fuck. It's well annoying.
Loads of them.
Like the rhythm game example was like Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
How many Guitar Hero games and Rock Band games were there a few years ago?
Yeah.
Like similar as 4 coming out every year.
Yeah, something like that. And then there was all like, because obviously it was kind of only just limited to the songs on it. So you could have like Aerosmith edition, Beatles edition. You could just do it with any band, couldn't you? So and they didn't make it like DLC. Well, they did sometimes, but they'd make like whole games, Rock Band, Aerosmith edition. So it was a £40.
Yeah.
It's like sports games just survive that completely, don't they? Like FIFA fucking 2005 to FIFA 2015. Like, this is a very unpopular opinion with people who like these games, but they're just fucking, what is it? It's just every single year.
Just updated, isn't it? They update the graphics a little bit and then they'll
add new players in.
Players? Yeah. Exactly.
Eurogamer had an article earlier that was like, oh, if there's a FIFA 18 demo, here's what's in it. Is it a football match? Is that what's in the FIFA 18 demo? I mean, it's
yeah, you don't care about football.
Exactly, yeah. It's like people say, oh, Destiny's just a monotonous grind. Well, fucking, what are you playing?
Sports games.
That's the genre.
So, sports games, there we go. Gotham Pop next up, and he asks, so, are you guys going to do any pretty bad re-reviews where you re-review the review of a reviewer who sucked at reviewing the game they were... You get the idea. Your YouTube piece on the Cuphead reviewer, Panning, showed how solid the team would be at providing further analysis of a current bad review. Would we review reviewers? That was a little joke from a couple of podcasts ago, wasn't it, guys, saying we should review reviewers? What was the thing? Criticize the critics or something. Critique the critics. That's a thing, isn't it? That's like
I don't know if I'd want to do that, but
it's a little bit witch hunty, isn't it? It's a little bit like, look how shit this guy's opinion is.
Can easily get ugly, can't it? That's the thing.
Yes, exactly. It depends how personal you get with it, isn't it? It's like this Dean Takahashi guy. People were being really personal about him. Yeah. And there was people that were saying points like, and it's true, like this isn't an opinion, it's a fact. He did review Mass Effect and gave it a bad score because he didn't realise you could level up. You can't ignore that is a fucking, that's funny. But I mean, and the Doom Polygon guy and stuff like that. See, you could just make videos critiquing him, saying, oh, look at that shit shot there. He should have been aiming. But at that point, it's just kind of a venomous reaction video, kind of just not bullying, but kind of just like punching down and there's enough of that on the internet, isn't there?
We had the old review roundups for a little while, which was kind of the closest thing that we've actually done to that, where it was just kind of rounding up all people's reviews, and then we'd kind of choose not what we liked, but we'd choose like a spectrum of, you know, like a newspaper, a couple of websites, a blog, like a, you know, more independent type guy, a YouTuber. So you'd have like a picture of what everyone was saying, but those were like pretty unpopular videos. People didn't like that. People wanted our own opinions. So if we're talking about other people's opinions and, you know, making our work about that wouldn't, I don't know if that'd be
also,
what people would want.
If we reviewed a reviewer, imagine if we reviewed a good reviewer, people would be like, stop sucking Jim Sterling's dick, stop it. If we made the video saying, well, that's a great review, it wouldn't happen, would it? It literally would be just reviewing people who we disagree with, and then it would kind of be like going, look at why this guy's wrong, look, and like, come on.
I think there are people out there who do far shitter things using video games. Like the amount of fucking Let's Players that, what are they fucking doing? Nothing. And then that, like, you know, that kind of stuff I feel is more worthy of getting, you know,
critiques.
Abuse, criticism. Sorry, I meant criticism. I meant criticism.
Exactly.
Of analysis and critique than. You know, than someone who's actually like played the game and tried to formulate an opinion and written it down, and there's a bit of craft there. But I'm not saying all Let's Players. I'm just saying some.
Shouts out CS:GO Lotto, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so, some that are just criminals, for example. You know,
yeah, there are genuine people that are. Yeah.
So I don't know. It'd be an interesting thing. I think.
There's people that do it already. H3H3, he does it, really. He kind of ends up, like, finding people that are ridiculous, and most of those people are deserving. He's not like one of those, like, a Leafy type guy on YouTube where you'll just find someone, like, being cringy and then, like, fucking rip into them and then sending out his personal army against them. You know, there's people that do it already, and I think they do it in a very polished way.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's space. I mean, fucking hell, guys, we covered fucking PewDiePie this week. See how well that fucking went. You know what I mean? That's all I got to say on that, innit? You know what I mean? Fucking. Even that, I'm thinking, fucking hell. Let's hope they don't hear me. The PewDiePie fans, 3,000 dislikes. Last up this week. That was a crime. I can't remember your name, but there was a patron that commented a very specific comment. Jake must cough at least twice a podcast. It's like you've remembered I've coughed the first time and gone, that's the second time he's coughed in an hour.
Hang on a minute.
Hang on. Last week he's gone through the tapes. And he coughed last week as well.
I've
an hour. I've coughed twice this week as well. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry.
Your throat gets dry.
Yeah, once every half an hour is not too bad. Anyway.
Also, before we finish, I want to thank the person who, I forgot what your name was. I should have checked before coming in here, but it was an awesome suggestion to related to Fact of the Week. We're pretty proud of Fact of the Week here at Pretty Good Gaming. Some of us are anyway. But
but again, if you're not, where is he? That's what I'm saying.
So the addition that he suggested was, like, we got the jingle at the start of the Fact of the Week to introduce the fact, and then you get the fact, and then we just kind of move on. So the idea that he or she had was like, why don't you put the jingle at the end as well, so that you got like a bookended thing, and then what a great suggestion. Like we gave it a go.
And Amiga. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Exactly. So we gave it a go, and then unanimous approval in the office. We're like,
twice as effective.
It just polishes it off perfectly. So the Fact of the Week is forever changed and forever improved because of your suggestion, friend.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Last up this week to cap us off, Simply Phil says, that's a third. Oh, fuck. Apart from meeting me,
well, that was two right there.
That's a double whammy. Here. Apart from meeting me, what are you most looking forward to at EGX?
Well, my first answer would be meeting Simply Phil, obviously, but
it is. That's
tough one.
We all know that.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff there that I want to play. It's going to be really boring and say Total War Warhammer 2, which is out a week after that anyway.
And you've already played it.
And I've already played it, but who cares? I am who I am.
I'm going to say Monster Hunter World. I want to get some 4-player co-op.
Definitely. I'm into that. I'm into that.
And Super Mario Odyssey. I'm really looking forward to playing because I've heard nothing but praise for that from like previews so far. So I really want to see what that's about.
Cool.
It looks fun. It'd be nice to get some hands on with Odyssey. I'm looking forward to that as well. Monster Hunter World. Detroit Become Human. I'm interested to see what that is. If it's new gameplay or if it's the gameplay that they were showing off at parks and stuff. I'm assuming it is. There's normally some nice surprises as well. A couple of indie games there. Lake Written looks really good. Donut County, I think. There's quite a lot. I'm also probably looking forward to. We're gonna probably get us a free shirt, like t-shirts and that. That'll be nice. Everyone in attendance, I think, to try and like sell your stuff. They just give you free stuff. I like that.
For the first day, I'm not going to really spend a lot of time playing games. I'm just going to be farming t-shirts.
Yeah, amassing free t-shirts.
I'm just going to be just walking around the place, wearing my worst t-shirt and going, look, I need your help.
Well, you know what? This might be a bit of a tangent. I don't know how well this is going to go. I'm going to unfilter for you guys for a sec. I've never been around that many people that have got a shared interest of predominantly video games, apart from on YouTube. And on YouTube, as you know, like there's less responsibility for your actions, and people can be quite abrasive on the internet. People can be quite offensive and hateful on the internet. Not always, though. However, being around so many gamers in person, I've never experienced that. I don't know if that's going to be very interesting for me, or I'm going to be like completely cementing my facts like. I'm not really a people person, but I'm quite excited to see what the atmosphere is like, because if you're into music or you're into anything kind of niche, or you're into a sport like rugby, you go there, the atmosphere in the stadium, it's the atmosphere, right? You go to a concert like I saw Black Sabbath last year, it can't be topped. Everybody there was excited. It's like that. I want to see if there's a collective excitement or if everybody's just doing their own thing. I want to see what the atmosphere is like. I've never really gauged that, and I've never really experienced it. I don't know, not really a veteran in terms of video game conferences and stuff. So I'm quite excited to see what the social aspect's like, if everyone's going to be a bit more communal, a bit more like that, like it's going to feel like one big family, or is everyone just going to be like neck-beardy bros making jokes about 4chan and stuff like that for it? I don't know what to expect. So I'm interested in that from like a psychological point of view, but mostly Super Mario Odyssey.
Well,
anything to add, boys?
Let's just fucking finish this, Jake.
It sounds like you want to fight me to the death when you say something like that.
That's what I meant.
That's it, right. I'm not here next week. Mike's killed me. Well, that's it for our podcast in our new environment. We've got the MacBooks and things like that. This time,
posters. There's all kinds of stuff going on.
This is a disaster. Gaz is watching this. I'm really sorry. All right. So listen, everyone, thanks a lot for watching. That's episode number 29. It's going on quite fast now. EGX is creeping up. So it'd be nice to see us do a podcast based around that soon. So if you're interested, keep an eye out. I'd like to say a big thanks for sticking around. I know we've covered Nintendo and Destiny, and it's not really been sort of that newsworthy for a lot of people who play PC games. So if you've stuck through, thanks a lot for the support, and we will see you next time. I've been Jake Kulkowski, Mike Williams, and Liam Mckelvey. See ya!
See you guys.